Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. So one of my weird hobbies is going and finding the most outrageous Dave Ramsey clips that I could possibly find, and then watch them and show them to you guys. And today I think I found some of the best clips out there on the internet of Dave Ramsey talking through some rather unusual situations. So if that sounds like a good time to you, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and also big thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video, but more on that later, because we got this. This one immediately caught my attention because it's something that we've all fallen victim to. At some point or another, we thought that we could outsmart the stock market. We think that we know everything and we pick the next 10-bagger, only to find that that stock just doesn't do well. And this is exactly that. It's titled, "We Lost $300,000 Day Trading," and let it be a lesson that you should probably not do this. Let me show you.
For 2018, we had $316,000 in capital losses. We were told that we could only deduct $3,000 a year on our taxes, but I did the math and that would take 115 years, and I'm hoping I don't live that long.
Oh man, okay, so first of all, big problems there. This is true. So if you make, let's just say $300,000, you're going to have to pay tax on the $300,000 of profit. If you lose $300,000, you can't write that off of your taxes because that's investment income. You can only write off investment income losses against investment profits. So if you have $300,000 in losses and no profits, they cap your deduction at $3,000 a year. It makes no sense. I don't understand it. And that number, by the way, has not been adjusted for inflation in such a long time. Someone should really go through and make it more deductible. Deduct like $30,000 in capital losses a year. Just do something more reasonable. Or be able to write it off like more of your ordinary income if you want to. $3,000 is nothing for people that have larger losses than that, like in this situation here. So I get it.
Our accountant said that he suggested opening a brokerage account instead of a 401k to utilize these capital losses, and I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, so basically what the accountant's saying is that because you have no investment gains, go and open up a taxable account. You could start investing in there, and all the profits you make in that, up to the $300,000 loss, it's going to be tax-free. So at least you could write it off, which I get what he's saying, but that's a long journey to get $300,000 of profit after a $300,000 loss.
The problem is that if you put it in mutual funds, a lot of the gains may not be taxable because the growth in value is not taxable until you cash it out.
Yes, so Dave Ramsey is also correct. So what he's saying is that if you buy, let's say, an index fund and you hold it for 10 years, you're not going to have any capital gains to write off the losses. The only thing you could do is maybe just like sell it at the end of every taxable year, and then you increase your tax basis. Maybe that I could kind of see like, okay, it's kind of stupid. But here's the thing too. Long-term capital gains here in the US is taxed at 0% if you're married, making under about $80,000 a year. So like right off the bat, if you hold an investment longer than a year and you're married, you might very well pay $0 in capital gains on your investment income up to that amount, which is more than enough for most people in the United States. So you could get tax-free retirement income for the rest of your life, as long as you just abide by that and know the tax situation. So again, it's just not going to help her in her situation.
What's the loss from?
From trading. From doing trades.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was bad. It was a bad situation. My husband was diagnosed as being bipolar, but not until after this happened.
That is horrible. So here's the thing. People diagnosed with bipolar, from what I understand, have these manic episodes where they believe they are, grand, they know a little bit more than everybody else, they feel invincible, and that's part of the manic phase of things. So it's like her husband was in the manic phase, felt invincible, felt like he understood the stock market, went in, lost a bunch of money while he was in that state, and then the other part is more of the depressive episodes where then he's going to go through a time feeling really bad. So, I mean, at least he got diagnosed, he knows what to watch out for, and he could better manage it, but to lose $300,000 in a manic episode is awful.
Originally, I had just had a new baby, I was having problems with pregnancy, so he started working from home trading because he was doing it and doing well with it.
There's no such
up
thing.
Until he, well, yeah, up until he wasn't.
That's always what happens. They get you. It's like going to a casino and you always win the first bet. It's beginner's luck. You go in there, you're gonna throw the dice a little bit, you'll win, okay? Then you go home and you're like, oh yeah, I outsmarted the casino, I'm up, this is fantastic. So you go back again and you think, you know what, I'm in profit. So if I play anything, even if I lose, it's the house's money anyway. I'm not losing anything, it's the house's money. Then you lose. And then you say, well, now I'm back even, so I may as well play what I originally played with. You lose again. And then you think, well, if I play a little more, at least I can make it back. And then I'll walk away even. And then you lose a little more. So trading is very much the same thing. You'll do well in the beginning sometimes, and then it's just a false sense of accomplishment. It's not real. And then the more you do it, the more you lose. There's studies out there that show that 80% of day traders lose money over a 1-year period. On top of that, something like 98% of day traders just manage to break even. 98%. So you're talking about 2% of people out there day trade and make a meaningful profit. And then you have to think, of those 2%, how many were just lucky? Because if you look at statistical averages, there's going to be some outliers there. They're outliers because they just happen to be right. No other reason. So my guess is when you look at day traders over 10 to 20 years, almost all of them are probably going to lose money. So this is the fact of the matter.
78% of day traders lose money.
Yeah.
Statistically, that's called all of them. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't even ever say that again, that he was doing well.
No.
Okay, so Dave Ramsey just said what I just said. I believe it's 80% though, but someone could fact check me here. 78 or 80%, close enough.
If we get too nitsy and nuanced and technical in order to get some benefit from this write-off, but it exposes him to the very beast that just about killed him the first time, I don't like that. So your husband being anywhere near a brokerage account sounds like suicide to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, in order to be able to write off those losses, he's got to go back to battle. He's got to go back to the stock market, try to make that money back. It's just a bad situation all the way around.
I think, though, you're probably gotten pretty decent advice in terms of what technically applies, but it was bad advice when you pan back and understand the situation, because your husband doesn't need to be anywhere near a brokerage account ever again.
I wonder if active investment in real estate through like renting out a bedroom or something like that would count towards this. Maybe, because these are active investment losses. Perhaps if she has active investment gains, perhaps in real estate, short term, maybe. I'm not an accountant though. I find it incredibly interesting to understand some of the nuances. It's so complex. They make the tax system horribly complicated for no reason at all.
Our marriage was good. It's strong. You know, we go to counseling. I'm very supportive of him.
Is he healing from the bruises where you hit him?
Yeah. I think he'll be okay.
If those roles reverse though, see, he could say that to her and they have a laugh at it. But if it was the guy that was calling and he made that, I'm just saying, hitting anybody for any reason, both sides, probably not the best thing to do, right?
Let's also double check and get a second opinion and some other possible options, if there are any, that are safe and that are away from the snakes that have bitten you before, that where you could get this write-off.
You know, it really goes to show you, though, how important a good partner is and good communication, which then brings me to this video here. It's just titled, Girl Dumped Me Because I Wouldn't Go Over My Dating Budget. Although before we go into that, I do have to say that at least the prior caller was open to learning about more information, which is better than most people. In a weird way, this is partially one of the reasons why I've become so obsessed with learning about personal finance, because it's really something that you could do on your own time, at your own pace, on the internet, without ever stepping foot in a classroom. And that's also why I'm such a big proponent of our sponsor, Brilliant. Without question, Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively with thousands of lessons, from basics to advanced topics to choose from. For instance, like you've just heard, I often quote studies and statistics in my videos, which can often be flawed. How, you might ask? Well, sampling sizes, biases, and methods could dramatically affect the results. even if it seems random, and Brilliant shows you just that. You could learn exactly how to calculate and understand the margin of error, sample variance, and more, so that the next time you hear that 90% of people do not smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, you'd be able to better grasp exactly what plays into that. They also have plenty of other lessons on mathematical thinking, data analysis, probability, statistics, computer science, and more. Best of all, it's at a really easy, interactive, go-at-your-own-pace guide, customized to fit your needs so that you can understand the core principles of exactly what's going on. They also make it really helpful that if you don't understand the answer, or why they came to it, or why the answer is the way it is, they'll show you exactly how they came to that conclusion. Plus, new lessons are being added every single month. Oh, and you can also get started today for free for 30 days and get 20% off their annual subscription when you go to brilliant.org/GrahamStephan, or the link is down below in the description to get started today. And now with that said, let's get back to this next video.
You post to YouTube about some girl dumping you because you wouldn't take her to the restaurant she wanted to go to because it wasn't in your budget. It's gone viral, and you are now America's cheapest single man.
Oh, man.
All right, so once he says that, we're going to watch the original video here, okay? So I'll link to it down below in the description for anyone who wants to see it, but we're going to watch it right now. This is it.
Could you believe that a young lady would not date me because I told her it's not in my budget? She didn't return a phone call. She ain't do nothing. And I'm sitting here like, well, what the heck? Y'all, she didn't text me for 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly what I'd say. It's like, hey, hun, we can't do that because it's not in the budget. It's just like, that's not really an attractive thing to say. So I kind of like, listen, I'm not trying to defend her here, but I'm just saying, if you got a text message, be like, hey, let's go for dinner. He's like, sorry, it's not in the budget. You know what? It's like, you're not going to be excited to see that. Instead, he could phrase it as, nah, I'd say we do this instead. There we go. I think that would be a nice approach. That way, he doesn't have to spend the money. He can do something free, like a picnic. Like, no, a picnic would be way more fun. Let's do that instead. You down? Done.
About a few months ago, I took this young lady out. We went out to dinner. She texted me. She says, hey, first date was cool, but can we go to this particular restaurant next weekend? I didn't respond because I wanted to go home and check my budget and make sure that, okay, I can afford it inside of my budget.
Oh gosh, when they say this particular restaurant, you know it's going to be an expensive restaurant. You know this is like, chances are they want a specific meal. They don't want to see you. They want to see the restaurant. They want to see the food in their stomach. And have a free meal. That's what that tells me when they say a specific restaurant like that. Unless it's like a hole-in-the-wall place. Be like, hey, we gotta go check out Auntie Anne's, at this place. It's really cool. Only a few people know about it. It's just, cheap food. But yeah, like a high-end, like, hey, we gotta go to Mastro's this week. Yeah, it's a no.
So I sent her a text message that says, hey, unfortunately, I can take you out next weekend, but I can't take you to this particular restaurant because if I do, this would take me over my dating budget for the month. I would be more than happy to budget this in for next month if we are still dating.
Jeez, imagine being told I'll budget for next month if you're still with me. I don't know. I think he could have phrased that better. Personally, he doesn't have the best text message game if he's laying out his financial plans to her over text. Like, at least call her. At least call her, feel it out on the phone. Now, I'm not saying she's right on this one, but I'm just saying the game could be stepped up a little bit.
My vision for my life and for my money, because I stuck to it, it actually blocked me from dating a particular young lady that probably wasn't healthy for me.
Listen, I'm glad he's staying on his path, okay? I just think he can stay on the path and still come up with some witty messages to send back, play it back on her, be like, deal, you pan, with a laughing face or something like that. I don't know. Just throw it back at her, have there be some back and forth on that. Let's see some banter.
I could have took her to the restaurant. Honestly, I could have took her that next weekend, but I didn't want to change my budget around because at the end of the day, that's what I said I'm going to do.
All right, so now let's see what Dave Ramsey has to say about this. I'm more on his side, okay? But I just think he could have handled that a little more tactfully. Listen, I know he avoided someone who's not a good fit for him, but, I think he'd play the game a little bit.
What they're saying is that if he really liked her, he would have spent $500 on that dinner. And I was like, no.
Wow!
Yeah. The second date, Dave, would have been the restaurant.
I gotta tell you, I don't know what girl's worth that.
Yeah, that's wild. $500 on a date. There's no, you know what? That tells me that there's a lot of alcohol involved because that's the only thing that drives the cost up that much. Or they're doing like omakase sushi for like $250 a person. No dinner should be $500 for two unless it's like a Michelin star rated place and you're getting like 2,000-year-old drinks. There's no way.
When she seen me on this national show, because you know we do national media right here.
This girl's shallow.
Yeah. Then she seen me. She was like, oh, he do got money. And so she responded to me.
You're cheap, but she's shallow.
There you go, Dave. Thank you. I got another word for it, but I don't want to say it on your show.
It's not that he has money necessarily. He's got clout. That's all it is. She sees him on a TV show and she's like, you know, okay, he doesn't have money, but maybe he has some followers. If he's on TV, there's maybe something to him. Let's hit him back. I'm glad he ghosted her. But, you know, I could see it from that perspective. Not necessarily that the guy has money because he's on TV.
But as a father, though, Dave, if your daughter came home and said that, hey, this guy told me we can't do this particular thing because he's on a budget and that's not in his budget.
I would say don't be a princess.
There you go.
See, imagine, though, you take her on the $500 date and then she never texts you back afterwards. Imagine that. You're in $500 deep on a dinner. And it's just like, well, then what happened? I just stopped getting responses. Not a good investment. I would say, you know, keep it under $100. $100 on the high end, preferably like $60. Get a nice meal for $60. You have a more personalized experience.
After I thought about it, I think the budget saved me, Dave, because I don't think I should be paying $500 for a dinner with anyone I'm dating. I should be spending that kind of money on my wife or maybe my fiance, but a girlfriend, someone I'm getting to know, $500, that's a lot of money on some food.
Even then spend $500 on investments. Go and buy that. That would be fun. How about say, hey, honey, instead of doing that, let's buy some S&P 500 index funds. That's fun.
And I actually like the back and forth. I disagree, or he's cheap, or he should have said it like this. One person said, I should not have even told her I was on a budget. I just should have said no. And I'm like, well, I was on a budget, so that was my reason why.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of get it. You don't have to give a reason why. You don't have to explain yourself, because then it sounds like he's just justifying it. You can just say no. He doesn't owe her any explanation after a first date. Just say no. Don't want to go there. I want to go here instead. You in? And that's it. I think budgeting, you could mention that later on, maybe in person, but probably not the best idea. As I said earlier, I wouldn't put that over text.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's coming from a guy who hasn't been on a date except with one woman in 40 years. But so what do I know about anything in the dating world? Nothing. Oh, man. But truly dad jokes. That's about it. Yeah. But or boomer or whatever it is you want to assign to me.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. My vote is just like, hey, he's got to get better at his texting game. That's it. He doesn't have to owe her any explanation. Just say no, move on to something else. Okay, and then that's it. I mean, yes, I think the right person, if he puts a budget, not going to be bothered by that. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But I'm just saying, you know, going on a second date, probably not going to throw out budgeting. That's not going to make anybody excited. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Brilliant, down below in the description to get started today. Also, feel free to add me on Snapchat, Instagram, hit the like button, subscribe. Now with that said, until next time.